Hey, how's it going, folks? Welcome back. It is Saturday, the 13th of June, a new week. Thought we'd do another one of these coffee mornings. Quite enjoy chatting to people, and I've managed to make sure I've got my little latte drink with us today. I'd said last week, I think when I started this show, that the sound of Malaysia, was an angle grinder. And I'm not sure that's any different this week because the street right over the road from us there, they got their driveway done last week. It was just like angle grinding all week. The driveway's done. I'm trying to put my feet up here. The driveway's done, and now they're building a wall or something. They've just started angle grinding across there. Oh God, my head is absolutely banging listening to angle grinding. But I digress. Good morning, Marina. How you doing, pal? How's things with you? Must be 2 weeks now to the wedding. 2 weeks. Must be closing in. Anyway, cheers, everybody. Good morning. Cheers with a coffee. Should really be a nice crisp beer or a cider. I haven't drunk a beer in God knows how long. A cider, sure. Magners or something, glass of ice, that would be nice. But coffee it is. So good morning, Marina. 2 weeks, is it? Have I got that right? Good morning, Rob. Welcome, mate. How you doing? Nice to see you. And Rachel, good evening from Australia. Now, this morning when I was setting this stream up, I actually looked and I said, well, if it's 10 a.m. in the UK, which is 5 p.m. in Malaysia, what time is it in Australia? And I think the only one I could remember was like Sydney would be like 8 p.m. But what time is it with you, Rachel, just now? God, people are here, right? They've no idea of just quiet. Everything's got to be flung, banged, drilled. It's not in quiet. I'll tell you, I've shot did somebody just say 7 p.m.? I've shot a couple of little funny clips, right? Just for my own amusement. I was going to make a short out of it. If this pops up on my timeline soon, you'll know that this is what I was talking about, right? But I was going to make a short about the sounds of Malaysia, which start at like 7 a.m. of like angle grinding, leaf blowing, just loud motorbikes. And then late at night, when I go for a little walk with Teddy and Lucy, late at night, the last thing I hear is crazy dogs barking, like in their cages. And there's a lot of people around here keep dogs in cages, and the dogs go mental. God knows what would happen if they ever got out. Dean, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Good morning from miserable Sheffield. It has been a hot, it's just hot all the time here. Hot and humid. Last couple of days, Yvonne and I are sweltering. We've actually been sleeping in the living room of the house because it's cooler. Dogs have been a little bit freaked out by thunderstorms that have happened late at night. So we've just slept in the living room, a bit of jazz music on the TV. Has been nice to listen to. But hello, Bumblebee, how you doing? Bumblebee, I saw your name flash up on Tom Gatteretti's stream the other night. I saw your name flash up and Yvonne said to me, oh, that person is always on your channel from time to time. So we recognised you across the two channels. 7 p.m. So is that 7 p.m. in Sydney? Is that a different part? Because when I did the check, it gave me the list of all of the different times across Australia, and I thought, God, that's a lot. That's a big time difference. I've been in Perth, Sydney, and Melbourne, but it was years ago. Years ago. Christopher, good morning. Manchester, how is Manchester today? Is England? Well, I mean, I'm not oblivious to the news, right? I might have left the country, but I pay attention to what's going on. I've still got friends and family back home, of course, so I pay attention to what's going on. And the news from the UK in the last week, 2 weeks, is just absolutely, it's impossible not to see what's happening. But at the same time, you kind of feel quite detached from it by kind of just looking from a distance. But anyway, when is the first England game? Is Manchester like buzzing about a first England match? I saw they had a warm-up game a couple of days ago. But Scotland starts tomorrow for me, 9 a.m. I thought it was like 2 or 3 a.m. But it's actually 9 a.m., which is great because we'll have got up, took the dogs for a walk. I'll be back, be having a little coffee, and also I love dragon fruit. So I have some dragon fruit in the morning with a coffee, either the red or the white. I don't mind. I like both of them. If you've had the red one, you need to remember that when you go to the bathroom, that you don't freak yourself out. Jesus Christ, what's happening? It's like having beetroot. So I'll take the dogs for a walk tomorrow, and then I'll come back and watch the Scotland game. But what's England like right now, buzzing ahead of the first match? And when is the first match? Good morning, Noel. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. How are you getting on? How's the hips? How's the old shagger hips? I'm saying that just because it's jest, right? But I'm sure it's policeman hips, ex-policeman hips. Yes, Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Rye Hope. That's appreciated. Hello, I'm famous. I love both your channels. Obviously, if I'm going to do a live stream similar to Tom's, I need to come on and say, this sucks. I'm only doing this if you pay me 50 quid. Props to Tom. It obviously pays. Right, let's see what else we've got going on. Sat watching you on my sofa with a homebrew. You know, I've never really been much of a kind of like a heavy drinker. I don't mean like I drink a lot, I'm a heavy drinker. I mean like a beer or a stout or anything like that. I've always liked the fizz. But it seems like the older I got, the more the fizz just made me bloated. So like, I've never been one of those guys that could drink, like smash a pint, you know, like do it in a whole pint, or do the whole burst a can and then just burp at the end of it. I've never been that guy. I'm a like sip and then I'm gassed up for the next hour. Yeah, I mean, it just, the news in the last couple, I mean, the news all the time, right? The news is one massive psyop, just constantly designed to keep you under stress, tension. That's what 24-hour news cycles are for. But there's moments where it just goes in waves of like extreme, and the last 2 weeks have been extreme to watch. Pretty wild. You know, Yvonne and I used to live in Glasgow, and then we moved down south and I worked in London for, what's that, for nearly 5 years. I'm so glad to be away from the cities. I have zero interest in going into a city. I mean, all right, retract that slightly. We were living in Kuala Lumpur, months on, months off, but it was just like a different world, an absolute different world compared to home, compared to the UK. Omar, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Thanks for popping on, mate, and catching up with us. I hope you're well this weekend. Do you know, I'll tell you something that I was paying a slight bit of attention to when it came to the weather. It's Download Festival this weekend, and it's the first year in I think maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years that Yvonne and I haven't gone on the bounce, you know, like back to back. And so we're kind of still in like Facebook groups and all, and Reddit groups, and we're seeing all the people posting saying, oh, we're arriving, we're checking in, we're setting up our tents. And we were seeing a little bit about rainfall. So it was kind of curious to us if it was going to rain, because we've had some great years there, and then we've had some absolute washouts. We went to, I think it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was called Drownload, not Download, because of how horrific it was. It was the first time we left early. Hello, mate. How you doing? Nice to see you. I'm just kind of more feeling like a bit of a scruff. How many men in the chat can just recognise when sometimes when you just feel like, fuck it, I cannot be bothered. And that's kind of how I felt the last couple of weeks. Cannot be bothered. I don't really shave these days. I've got like a clippers that I just run over my head and run over my face. In the last couple of weeks, I just couldn't be bothered running it over my face. Nothing more than that. Just hundo, for you being Scottish, 100% pure laziness. Anyway, it's nice to see you, buddy. I hope you're well. How's the gigs going? Right, I'm going to have to call this out straight off the bat. If there's one thing I fucking hate, and I'm going to use the F word here, the F bomb, it's when people can't get my name right, because it's only 4 letters. So to use 3 letters for my name, Dave, as I'm going to call you, is annoying. Get my name right. It's in the screen. It's here. It's right here. It's actually spelt right here. So the fact that you've chosen to leave 1 letter out. Good morning, Victoria. How you doing, pal? Nice to see you. Thanks for that track you sent me through. It did click in my head, but I enjoyed watching the YouTube video because I do love that tune. I love a lot of old 80s stuff. I've got a little playlist on my YouTube channel of like classic 80s stuff I like to go and listen to some nights when Yvonne and I are just chilling out. Right, couple of big topics, right? I mean, apart from the big UK news, right? Apart from the horrific stuff, things that are a bit more topical about this channel. Oh, the SpaceX IPO, did anybody buy any stock? I saw Elon's now a trillionaire, that only true Scots can say by rolling your R's. A trillionaire. Launched at $135, closed at 160, went to 166 in the after hours. The question is, how long is it before the rug pull comes, or does it just rock? Do the rockets rocket? We shall see. Who else have we got? David, how you doing, mate? Good morning from the UK. Do you know, there's 2 lessons in this for me, right? The first one is I probably really should read the comment before I put it on the screen. But that's a natural reaction to just you making me giggle there at the oppressed UK. I was actually just watching. Don't do it. Don't do it, Lucy. We've got Lucy and Teddy to a stage now where they run out the door and just growl. They don't actually do the full barking thing. So it's doggy progress. Can you hear that guy throwing bricks around out of curiosity? Because I've got a little effect on my mic that tries to compress audio. So I'm wondering if you can hear it. And also, is everybody having a coffee? I know there's a few beers floating around, but what's everybody drinking? The oppressed UK, that made me chuckle. I was just watching a video of Keir Starmer on the news there. I think he was getting interviewed on Sky or something. It was a clip somebody was showing, and he was once again refusing to resign. I mean, he's pretty much losing half of his party under resignations, but he's the only one that won't resign. He's not allowed to, is he? His true controllers won't actually allow him to resign, because otherwise they'll bring out the stories about the 3 Ukrainian lads, right? So that's where we'll go with all of that. So the first England game is the 17th of June. God, that's ages away. No wonder they were playing a warm-up game the other day. 17th, that feels like, it feels ages away in my world. And I'm glad that's how my brain works, right? See, even though I know today's the 13th, I can't compute what day the 17th would be. So thank you, Mark. You just saved me there. I was going to embarrass myself by saying, is that Thursday or Tuesday or something? But Thomas, a Victor Meldrew character. I was enjoying his live streams this week. I watch all of his videos. I find them quite fascinating. Some very good topics. I think I've followed the English refugee one since the very first video. I remember him flying out, and I watch all of the channels. Don't necessarily agree with everything he says, but a lot of the topics are very good. And a Broken Mirror channel. I hope he's able to keep going with that, because I found that fascinating as well. But if we agreed on every topic, the world would be a boring place, wouldn't it? Marina, I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news either, but it is YouTube clips. So I see a lot of commentators that are talking about news stories. Both of the dogs are sitting at my feet now, just chilling out here. Let's have a little look. Hannah the plumber, she wore a nice shirt. People said it was 2 o'clock. Do you know, I saw the clip over there just talking about it. I find it quite fascinating that we can champion one plumber, but when another plumber appears, we've got good plumbers and bad plumbers now, apparently, in the UK. It's like the Super Mario Brothers. Well, do you know, the don't shaving thing, it's just laziness, right? It's like, and I don't mean that like you're lazy. I just mean when you just can't be bothered. And that's exactly how I've felt. And a couple of days I've been like that to Yvonne. God, my face is itchy. And she's like, just fucking clip it off. And I'm like, I can't be bothered. So I could just fix it for myself, but I can't be bothered. I'm a scruffy boy these days. You say it though, a strong chin. Gigs are great, being a dad. Yeah, how's life with the kids and all that, mate? How are you getting on there? You navigating those waters? Good to hear that the gigs are still going well. I see your flyers pop up from time to time on Facebook, mate, so good on you. I'm glad the business is still going well. And Victoria, is it a 90s tune? Is it 1990 though? I mean, that scrapes onto the borderline, doesn't it? Oh, hello, mate. How you doing? You're a sheep. You bought some stock. Did you? I mean, I would just sell it on Monday. You made 30 quid out of it, as long as it's still in that position come Monday. If it's still up on Monday, then you'll be able to make a couple of quid out of it, but we shall see. Let's see what else we've got here. I'll have a little flick through. Yeah, so other news that I woke up to this morning, right? I've been building a couple of things this week using AI. I use both ChatGPT and also Claude. They're the two that I tend to focus on. And this week, I spent the money and upgraded Claude and started building a couple of things. And I was using the new Fable. And I've woke up this morning and Fable has been banned by the US government. It's bloody powerful. I was building a website. I was building a wee device that I want to use, and was building some dashboards and things for like managing my finance. And it's bloody gone. It's been taken down this morning because they're saying it's too powerful for Joe Public to use. So I went on to the Claude website today and I went to the Claude chatbot. I complained about it and I got my money back. The chatbot was like, yep, you're due a refund, and gave me back. It was like £75 on top of the £20 I'd already paid for the Pro version versus the Max version. And it's gone. Woke up this morning, bloody gone. So hope you're having protein and pancakes, or protein pancakes and a coffee, I should say. That's my dyslexia kicking in. Let's see what else we got on. Oh, no, mate, life cannot be that tough. Like, I know you're doing a bit of like exercise, losing a bit of weight, but there's ways to go about this, and it isn't water and bran flakes. That sounds like you're doing a 10 stretch, mate, and you're on the grill in a Thailand prison or something. Let's have a little look. Too late for me. I totally agree. There is a cut-off time. I'm having this at 5 o'clock at night, which is beyond my normal cut-off time. But I'm doing it to be socially cool with you guys, right? I'm under a bit of peer pressure. Can I have a coffee morning and not drink a coffee? So under duress, I'm having this with you, so it's a wee connection. Diedrich, how are you, mate? How's things going? Nice to see you. What's going on in Holland this week? Hopefully not the kind of news that's coming out of the UK, that's for sure. Bumblebee, I wish I'd bought SpaceX, hindsight. I'm going to say on this, we talked about this last week, right? I think it might actually have been Diedrich that said, give it a couple of months and see where it's at. And I championed that. Obviously, this morning when I woke up and opened up the stock ticker and I was like, oh, it finished at 166. Well, that proves me wrong. I still believe that you need to give it a little bit of time to figure out how it's going to move going forward, because it doesn't really have any way to make any money right now. So, I mean, obviously, if you're somebody that wants to buy it now, where's it going to be in 10 years or 20 years? I get that. The way the AI is moving, we probably won't be here in 10 or 20 years. We've been taken over by Skynet. Growing a beard for Christmas. I've got to say this, right? I don't have the testosterone levels to grow a beard. I've never been a particularly hairy guy. This is as good as it gets, and it's like bum fluff. I'm a 48-year-old man, can't grow a beard. But this is just pure laziness. It will be gone probably the next time you see a video. Thanks to everybody that watched my British gas video yesterday as well. Bastard gas, as I'm now calling them. Sorry about this. So much swearing today. It's coffee. So much swearing off the bat. But thanks to everybody that's watched that British gas video. We'll wait and see what the Ombudsman comes back and says about that. I'm so hacked off with the whole thing. Just wanted it done. And that hasn't happened. Oh, let me flick through a few more of these, see what's going on. I just need a red suit. I need to put on a bit of weight to be to do the old Santa routine, unless you're going to be like a GLP-1 promotional Santa. You get that reference. Blimey, that company needs to pay out fast. Yeah. So let a look. Trying to break free from the system by starting a barbecue school business. Oh, nice. What would be your meat of choice for the barbecue? What's your kind of go-to? Is it brisket or pork or pulled pork or chicken? And do you make your own sauces? That's what I would like to know about a barbecue school. Love barbecue. Sounds like an 80s low-fat diet. Dust. Everybody, dust. Could you imagine if you brought back Little Britain now? Like, you just couldn't make Little Britain now, could you? So many of those comedies, classic, like 90s, like, you know, the Paul Whitehouse and all that kind of stuff, you just couldn't do them now. Couldn't do them. Bacon sheds. I've seen an influx of videos recently of people covering like ordering food from Facebook now, Facebook Marketplace, ordering food. I actually saw a big trend on from the US about people making what's the drink? You get it in powder and you pour it in with sugar. Oh God. What, somebody tell me in the comments, what's the drink? It's powder. You pour it in and then you add sugar. What? Kool-Aid, as Yvonne shouts from the living room. Kool-Aid, I've saw a big trend online of like people selling Kool-Aid with like slices of fruit inside it. So like melon or pineapple, and then putting a bit of booze in it and selling it out the back of their car. And now people are getting hospitalised. Guy driving by and sneezing, getting hospitalised for the alcohol or the amount of sugar that's inside it, the diabetes. So I've seen that happening, but I've seen a lot of trends of people selling food that they're making on Facebook Marketplace. Just the whole, I mean, see that to me, right? See if it was like, I don't know, like Rice Krispie cake or something, right? I would buy a Rice Krispie cake with like chocolate and marshmallows from Facebook Marketplace. But I'm not going to buy a dinner. I've no idea. I mean, if we just thrown cooking standards and health and safety out the window for the sake of a side hustle on Facebook Marketplace these days, where have we got to? Water with bran flakes and Greek yogurt. I see the one word that's in that that's fundamentally wrong is just water. I mean, I would have it just with the Greek yogurt, the fruit and the bran flakes. That would be crunchy. But the water with Greek yogurt, that's just going to be like a pure sloppy mess. that's a hard no from me on that one. Now, I'll say this much for a cooked breakfast, right? Yvonne has started to fantasize over this. I've caught her a couple of times just scrolling like the food apps, Grab, trying to find if we can get a cooked breakfast. And then she came home from the shops earlier on and was like, I've got bacon and eggs. So we had bacon and eggs earlier on today. We haven't had bacon in, since we left the UK, probably. Not easy to get out here, obviously. Queenstown, New Zealand. No worries. You're never late. Be on here for a little while, hanging out, sipping on my coffee. There's no rush today. I've got nowhere to be. I'm going to do one of those live stream things where I'm like, if you want me to stay on for another 10 minutes, you're going to have to donate. That's a joke, by the way. That's called sarcasm. Rump cap every time. Pincana. Am I saying that right? Picana? I've no idea. Let's see what else we got going. Pork belly. For me, it's just always got to be a brisket. A nice, like, especially when it's smoked. I mean, burnt ends as well. See if you get somebody that makes burnt ends properly. We've had the joy of a couple of decent barbecue places. Is it the Beard Brothers, which I obviously now could be a part of. I'm going to ask them if they want me to join their collective. Right, so who all bought stock then? So people bought stock, people actually bought into it. That's cool. These are all going to space. Apparently you would get that free with your first share, right? Is anybody still following the Lego issue? The Lego issue had some further coverage by CoffeeZilla, who did a full investigation into it. And the guy, Reckless Ben now, who is his YouTube channel, he has been silenced now. He's not allowed to even name the company, Bricks and Minifigs. Here's Teddy saying hello. He's going to lick my face in a wee second. But this is Teddy, and immediately that Teddy gets lifted up, oh, babe, sweetheart, that's good enough. The second that Teddy gets lifted up, Lucy's giving me the sad face, so I better give them both. Come on, are you coming? This is just for the views, but here's Lucy. Just absolutely chuffed to be on the camera. Give you a wee wave. Hello, everybody. Right, down you go, sweetheart. That's Teddy and Lucy. We're 4 weeks into this sit now. We're doing it for 5 weeks. We've got this week and then the following week, and then that's it done. That will be 5 weeks here. And then I think we've got a mate coming in from Australia. So we're not quite sure where we're going next, but we're going to try and catch up with him. So let's see what goes on. Dietrich, nothing to report from the Netherlands. Come on, there must be always something to report from the Netherlands, just not the news from the UK, right? What's an interesting old interview with Elon Musk? Didn't realise he's been busy. Is that right? 20 years? Incredible. Trillionaire. Do you know, we've occasionally been ordering, it's not really the same, right? But we've occasionally been ordering Burger King to come here to the house, just as a wee evening treat. I do love, like, see a Whopper. I'd take a Burger King over McDonald's all day long. But see, when you add an extra couple of patties in and you get like 3 or 4 patties, it becomes a serious burger at that point. Only because there's not really a proper burger specialist around here. So we have to make do with Burger King, but not McDonald's. They're probably both the same, right? But I think we all know where McDonald's meat comes from, don't you? It's your grannies. Paul Whitehouse and Bob Mortimer, a TV show called Gone Fishing. I still go back and watch a lot of Vic Reeves and Bob Mortimer. God, my brain's gone so dead. They've got cracking stuff on YouTube, like stuff that they just did themselves when they were off a TV. Mate, get your jacket and get out of this room. Remove yourself bran flakes and orange juice. That just sounds like you'll be in the toilet 20 minutes after you've consumed it. Sounds about right. What else have we got going on here? Who else have we got? The Project Addict. How you doing, mate? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. How are the projects going, more importantly, and welcome to one of the calls. I'm going to have to try and develop this at some point where you can dial in. Well, in fact, that's actually what we do on the Patreon calls, right? So thank you to all the Patreon members, 134 members, I think, 134 members now on Patreon. And in 10 days' time, I'll do the next Zoom call. And on that call, I'm going to do a little bit about how to kind of build your own finance tracker using AI. I'm going to do that. Now, I've also been chatting a little bit about the newsletter. Let me just quickly check, because I think I've got, I'm on the web here whilst I'm talking to you at the same time. Let me have a little look. Subscribers, reports, subscriber total. 428. So 71 spaces left on my newsletter before I either have to buy another package or cut people off. Let's see what else we've got going on in here. Who else have we got in the chat? Who's this? Stephen, how you doing, mate? Nice to have you on. Just keep busy in my retirement in Chiang Mai. I think Yvonne and I have been talking about Chiang Mai. I would like to go there. Sourdough. Do you know, my dad started making sourdough in his last couple of years. Got a little bread making machine and he was making it. Seemed to absolutely love it. And also, I mean, a good pizza. I love a good pizza. I love a good pizza. Pizza's one of those things, like I couldn't eat, that's not like the McDonald's and the Burger King thing, right? I won't go out my way for a McDonald's. I would eat a Burger King, but I wouldn't eat a Pizza Hut or like a Papa John's or something. They're just too salty, too salty. But if there's somebody that's got a little wood fire going on and it kind of makes pizzas and all that, I'm into that. I absolutely love that. Bumblebee bought all the UK house builders that are an all-time low. Who's that? Like Persimmon, Wimpy, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. She's building houses now. What am I trying to think of? Taylor Wimpy. Taylor Swift. Oh, Christ, I'm a pure fanny sometimes, honestly. Can't I get my head clicked in gear at times? We saw an auction on Facebook for a pallet of Lego. I've always been fascinated by, you know, those videos. It's like, I bought a pallet of returned goods to Amazon, and then they're always like, oh, look at this, look at this. I'm sorry, but I always just think, what a lot of shite. But I've always been curious as to if anybody's actually really done that before. I would be the type of person, right, that would give that a try, and I would order the pallet of Lego, and it would just be like one colour that came or something, you know, it would just be like green. You'd be like, what am I supposed to do with a pallet full of green fucking Lego bricks? What's this? The UK and I, new and sugar fruit Kool-Aid thing. Canada. I've only had Kool-Aid. I think Yvonne and I brought a tub of it back from America when we went to one of the first holidays we ever went on was to Florida. And I think we brought back American sweeties. Can you imagine two Scottish people bringing a tub of powder through the airport? I mean, it was very different times. But Kool-Aid, I think we brought some back and we tried to make a rum punch or something out of it. Probably with Morgan Spice or like Southern Comfort or something. Southern Comfort's the one drink that I had when I was in my late teens that I kind of, you know, everybody has that one drink you've overdone. You know, the one thing that you've just binged on that much now, you're like, mine's was Southern Comfort. By the way, if you have one of those drinks, tell me in the comments like what it is. I'd love to know. What's the one drink where you're like, I can't touch that now? It's like, you know, oh, I used to love a Bailey's. I've had that much of it now. I can't stomach it. Butterfly effect. Are we talking about the Elon Musk shares there, or something different? See, we're on the same mental wavelength here. Burger King does trump McDonald's. Just there's something about a grey burger from McDonald's and how you know where I'm going with all of this, right? You all know the conspiracies. Like they make and sell too many burgers for the amount of cows that are on the planet. So it's your grannies, exactly. It really is. That always reminds me of if there's any comedy fans in here, right? I mean, real comedy, like the Bill Hicks. There's a sketch that Bill Hicks does where he talks about like if you had an aging granny that she should be in the movies as like stuntmen, and you would have like Chuck Norris like kick her head off in a film, and you would be like, oh, there goes my Grammy. That would be the way that they would have to elevate movies from where they were in like the 80s and 90s. Like if they were going to get better, they would have to use real people, and it would be like your terminally ill granny. That's how she would go out. That's not me saying that. It's a Bill Hicks sketch. I'm just saying it's a belter. Bacon double XL. So I'll tell you what I've been ordering, right? It's not a bacon double XL. I think I've been going for, let me have a little look. Triple Whopper Junior with cheese, with 2 extra patties. So 5 patties, but a triple Whopper Junior with cheese. And I don't get chips, I don't get onion rings, and I get, do you know what they have here, right, that you don't get in the UK? They have purple drink, aka grape drink by Fanta. So instead of Fanta orange, you get Fanta purple here, which is grape flavour, and it's delicious. It's worth being out here just for that. See what else is going on. The projects are going well. Need to catch up soon. Yep, whenever you like. If you're joining the call, the Patreon call on the 23rd, you can chat then. But if you want to chat directly to me, you know how to get in touch with me. Anytime, no problem. Shooting Stars. Yeah, I mean, that was a classic, right? There was so many of those shows that just, you thought they were going to last forever, right? You thought that stuff would be around forever. And now we live in this world where comedy's just absolutely destroyed. I still like to go back and watch like early Chris Rock or early Bill Hicks or a bit of Dennis Leary. I mean, he really was just a bit of a copy. But I grew up in the early days of mainly like Eddie Murphy, like Delirious and Raw were like my early introductions to comedy. My dad had Billy Connolly records, stand-up records, and a bit of Richard Pryor. So that was kind of my early introduction. And then moving into guys like Chris Rock and all that kind of stuff down the line. Modern day stuff is, I mean, that's crap. Joe Rogan's stand-up is... BB, hi from Singapore. How are you doing? I'd quite like to get to Singapore. Left Scotland in '96 and the UK in '98. Good on you. Need to get to Singapore. It's expensive there, right? But maybe a couple of days or a house sit, depending on what we get up to. Enjoyed Chiang Mai. I hear it's like really quiet, but I'm okay with that. I am all right with the quietness. Yeah, so IPO, SpaceX went up, didn't buy any stock. Claude, been using Claude to build a few things, taken away by the US government. That's a little insight into what's going to happen with AI. It's making me really think about kind of building my own on a computer, you know, this whole build your own agent, because they can't take that away, right? And you can build an agent just now up to Opus level, which is Claude's next tier down. But I need to kind of look into that a bit more. And obviously the Lego thing, right? That rages on as well. Absolutely wild right now. Swift fittings. It's a guy over here just banging a shovel on a fucking wall. Just bang, bang, bang. Sometimes I think there's brain cells are lacking. Bellway as well. You bought Bellway. Do you know, this was my job at Scottish Power for a while, was selling metering to all of these companies. I used to go to all of their head offices. Bellway had something like 14 head offices in the UK. Taylor Wimpey, they were massive. They had like 40 offices. I was talking the other night on the podcast about getting a car. First car was a Volkswagen Golf and driving to Wales, and it was to go see Taylor Wimpey, not Taylor Swift, Taylor Wimpey. But all the stocks are down, are they? What's going on? Are they not building houses fast enough? It's not like they've not got a massive list to be given away thanks to the Labour government, right? What else have we got going on here? Southern Comfort. Southern Comfort was the one that got me very drunk at 18. Yvonne and I had been in Florida, right? And when we brought back all that stuff, we brought back a massive bottle of Southern Comfort. And we took it around to our mates. We were in a band with this mate. His name's John as well. We were in his house and we were playing this. We were like 18. We were playing Lemmings. If you remember that, on his Amiga 500. And we were doing, like, if you lost a game, you had to do a shot of Southern Comfort. And then the next day we had a gig. And I remember his dad driving us to the gig. And before we get in the car, his dad just looked at us and went, "You two smell like a fucking brewery." And that was one of the only times I felt true embarrassment of a pal's parents' thoughts. Because his mum and dad were like Yvonne and I's second mum and dad, like beyond my dad and Yvonne's parents. Our mates' mum and dad were like our second parents. And the fact that his dad had such disgust for how much we stunk before going to this gig, I think it was part overconsumption of something and part shame. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. Hope he's well. Oh, peach archers. Now, you know, see a wee, that's not ouzo, is it? Is that not a Zambuca? What is that called again? What is the name of that? A Peachy's Archers. What is that? What is that drink? I think does that get mixed into something for a cocktail as well? Does that get mixed with cranberry juice and something vodka to make a cocktail? God, my head is absolutely not in the game today. What is Peach Archers? What is the name of the drink? It's not ouzo. It's not Jaeger. It's like, what is the... I can't think. But I've drunk a lot of that over the years. Southern Comfort too. Old Cock Face Press. Schnapps. See, she won't come on. She sits in there, right? She won't join the live call because she's like, too shy. And then she sits in there listening and shouting things out. Schnapps. Just slowly peppering me with the right answers before I could type it into Google and look it up. She shouts it out, but she won't sit next to me and join the call. But yeah, Southern Comfort. Do you know, I had one not so, maybe a couple of years ago, just to kind of see, because it's very much like, you know, see like a Morgan's. I don't actually mind a Morgan's, but I tried Southern Comfort. There was just something about it. The very slightly different taste. When I was first going clubbing with a couple of schoolmates, right, when it was like when we were like 17 and getting into the club early, we would either drink one of two things. It was either a long vodka, right, which is like Angostura bitters, vodka and soda water, I think. And the other one would be a Southern Comfort and Coke. That's what we would drink when we were in the club, and we thought we were like wee men about town. You'd have a couple of beers in Hudson's and East Kilbride, and then you got the club and you'd have a wee long vodka. Oh, a pint of it, undiluted. Are we talking about the schnapps? Oh. All the names are coming through now. Pernod and bitter. Do you know, that's what I drink. Baz, I kind of know the smell of it. Does it come, is Pernod coloured? Is it black or white? Is it like one of those? I can think of the bottle. And I always, did it used to have like quite a glitzy 80s advert, like Pernod with like some sexy 80s woman with like a hat and all that on? Am I thinking of the right thing there? I'm glad to see I'm not the only one with the Southern Comfort thing. That seems to be that's quite a universally hated drink in this chat, which is good enough for me. Right, serious question coming in. Did you ever try Midwest in Northampton? The place is going. Oh no, I only moved to Northampton 2016, 15. Yvonne, my Quizmaster prompt has disappeared and I can't remember, but 2013, thanks, she's heard. 2013 we moved to Northampton. So that would have been long gone by then. And like Northampton had a barbecue place. It wasn't very good. It was a bit rough. It had a lot of hype when it opened up, but it never really came to much. It's Jack Daniels MBA. That's the one that you're out, but you still drink it with ice. When I met up with Paul and Cheryl when we were in Bali, I had one and I sipped it just with ice, and it was so good. I've said it before, but that's the one drink that I kind of miss by not drinking. Oh, save the cows. Save them for my dinner. Diamond White cider. My sister used to drink Diamond White. Again, in our younger years, right, in Scotland, the two chosen drinks would either be Buckfast, which I was never into. It was too syrupy. I would occasionally drink it when I was much older, just as a kind of shits and giggles thing. I'd occasionally get a wee half bottle, especially if you're going to a gig, going to a concert at the Glasgow Barrowlands, you get a wee half bottle of Buckfast called a pocket rocket, because in your top jacket pocket out the way when you're on the bus, and have a wee swig of that for a cheap buzz. But my early days of boozing was MD 2020, orange or like kiwi flavour or something like that. So you need to tell me down below if you know MD 2020. Oh, I used to have a couple of pals that could drink a whole bottle of that in one go. Like that was a badge of honour. I can't get past the fact that BK pre-cooked and just... What? I thought they flame grilled the burgers in the restaurant. Are you honestly telling me they just put them in the microwave? You might have just burst the last burger bubble that I had. Kwambi, you've shattered my... I was going to get one of them later as well. You might have just ruined that for me. You come in here throwing about your fucking burger facts. A blackberry nip. That sounds like one of those shorts you would get in like a club in Ibiza for like €2. A blackberry nip where it would be like black Zambuca, a splash of Baileys, and a little squirt of like cream, and you would have to do the whole shot with just your mouth and no hands. That's what that sounds like. Hey, excuse me, can I have 2 pints of vodka Red Bull and 5 blackberry nips for me and my pals? I've spent too much time in Ibiza. I know all of these things. And pint of vodka Red Bull is a thing. Scottish bars used to do it in Ibiza. Justin, how you doing, mate? Kansas City, 4:30 in the morning. Why are you still awake? Have you been up all night partying, Justin? Or are you up early to do something sensible? Either of those could be valid. One of those would make you slightly dry heave. Ah, the good old days. Exactly, Baz. Time for a dock walk. Okay, have a good one. See you later. Thanks for letting us know. Victoria, you... safe walks. When building an AI agent, it's recommended to have a separate computer. Yeah, I was I was kind of toiling with the idea of the whole Apple machine because I could carry that in my bag to do it, but that just also feels like a faff. So I'm not sure about that, but I totally agree. I wouldn't want to do it on my laptop that I'm working on here. I would get asked some random question by it at some point that was like, hey, do you want to wipe your computer? And I'd be like, yeah, you know, just, I was building something the other night that just kept, I was on Claude Code Terminal. It was asking me a whole series of questions and I was just going, yep, 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 yep. Could have been asking me anything. And I was just doing it because I just wanted the thing built. Have you been to Chiang Mai, have you? Even though someone stole my flip-flops. Flip-flops stolen, mate. I mean, you must be the only person that's ever been robbed by outside of a temple. That's just your luck. Question to me, do I have kids? Just me. Just my mental retardation of being 15 years old. I am the kid. Maybe it was two people and they had one flip-flop each. I saw that, Omar, Philippine earthquake. I was reading a little bit about that. I saw a little bit of it online. That's wild, right? Yeah, I don't think so, mate. I mean, of all the things to steal, right? I mean, they make them here. So what's the point? By here, I mean Asia. Schnapps. I thought that's what you were meaning. I haven't had one of them in God knows. We used to buy a bottle of schnapps. But what do you mix? Schnapps, you mix with like cranberry juice and vodka and it makes something. It makes a kind of pinky coloured cocktail. And I can't think what that is. Oh, Tia Maria, frozen. Oh, now you are getting fancy, Baz. Now you really are showing off. Nookie Brown was like so massive. I had a mate that used to drink Nookie Brown when we were out on a Saturday night. He would stand with a bottle. This would have been the whole Newcastle Alan Shearer era. I'm a rapper and I didn't even know it. It's a French drink. You can add water to it and it turns cloudy white. What is the? Is it ouzo? Is ouzo the one that if you've drunk it and you have water the next day, it makes you drunk again? My music partner, Yanis, if you're watching this, Yanis, hello, mate. My music partner, Yanis, he's Cypriot. And when Yvonne and I would go over and visit, spend time at their house, occasionally after dinner, they would get the ouzo out. We'd have a little glass. And I always remember him telling me, oh, it makes you drunk the next day. It has like a repeat. Has a repeat on it. When you have water, somehow kind of brings it back a little bit. Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Star Power. The smell of whiskey for me, I'm like bourbon it's got that smokiness, the oak barrel and all that. But whiskey for me is just I've never been as a Scot, not something I'd go out my way. Well, we've had a look around, and maybe it's just because it's not on Grab to order. I'm sure there's probably somewhere to go, but we kind of this few weeks has really been about kind of taking care of the dogs and looking after the dogs these last couple of weeks. So we haven't really done anything. In fact, somebody was asking me on one of the video comments the other day, are you doing any touristy stuff? And the answer to that is no. And mainly just because, well, we can never be bothered. And we're just kind of always living. But secondly, because we're looking after the dogs here, we're spending a lot of time just hanging out with them around the house, taking them for walks in the morning, taking them for walks in the afternoon. I do 3 walks a day with the dogs just now in total, just to kind of stretch their legs. And I love that routine. And the rest of the day is just like hanging out, doing very little, a bit of food. Vaughn's been baking the last couple of days. Now we're in a house with all of the stuff there. So she was making banana bread and bit of banana. Here's something for you, right? Banana bread, little bit of peanut butter and like a cream cheese on it. Little bit of like Philadelphia. Oh, now that is good. I would stay in for a bit of banana bread, a wee bit of cream cheese, and a wee bit of peanut butter. Oh, cool. That's very cool. Nice. And what happened to the house extension thing? Are you finished that and moved on to a car now? Or you're doing both at the same time, taking on double projects? Let me know. Enjoy in the Philippines, away the French fries. Okay. Let's see what else. Blackberry nip, the whole bottle, no additives. I have never been to Prague. Yvonne and I talked about it before, but my last adventure with beers was the Oktoberfest Beer Festival in Munich with the last company I was working with. And that was it. That was the end of drinking beers because I was so hungover the next day trying to fly home. What was your best year ever? I maintained 96 Euro, 96 Britpop TGI Friday. I mean, Yvonne and I talk occasionally about like what we think was like peak civilization. Just the average Saturday night couples conversation, right? We'll just be watching the telly and I'll turn to Yvonne and be like, when do you think peak civilization was? And she'll always say the 90s. Just that era. We are big indie music fans. Oasis was a whole era for us. We went to Loch Lomond. We went to Germany on a bus to see Oasis and the Seahorses with John Squire. That was a pretty good thing. That was 96. Got into a lot of raving at that point. So like Underworld and like when Trainspotting came out at that time. So then that kind of mid-90s, late 90s, I think we went to our first rave in 93, 94. We went to our first big rave. So all of that kind of era, very early 2000s. And then everything went to shit by like 2005, I think. Culturally wise, I mean, movies were great, you know, the whole Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs era. And then after that, yeah. So I fondly reflect back on the 90s. Trying to see if I can find my favourites folder. Not my favourites folder. Let me see. I've got a folder here on my phone of all of the gig tickets of every gig I've ever been to, because, of course, ADHD brain. And I can have a little look and remind myself here of what was peak gig. So look, I have this folder on my phone, right? This is every gig I've ever been to, ever. Because I did this during lockdown out of boredom. Took pictures of them all. So, you know, like this era of like 1995? 96, thought it was 96. And all these early days of raves, Resurrection and all that stuff. So the 90s was a great era. And the one gig I had a ticket to that got away, because he went and done himself or did he? Or did he? Right, let me scoot back here. I think I'm missing a few comments. Let me get back to, I'll go the opposite way. TGI Friday. TGI Friday is a restaurant chain. Yes, but TFI Friday. I mean, do you remember the episode when the Happy Mondays were on? Sean Ryder. What a legend. What an absolute legend. I've seen the Happy Mondays many, many times. If you're talking there about the MD 2020, yes, they were. It was like juice. It was like juice. Came in a kind of glass bottle that was about this big. And it was very easy to drink. MD 2020. It's called Mad Dog 2020. But that's what it looked like, that thing there. Look at that. You would get it in those coloured bottles that basically, if you spilled it on a mate's carpet, it was never coming out, and his parents would find out that he'd been in the house drinking that night before. Lived in Prague. Did you, Vicky? Hello, Vicky. How you doing? Nice to see you. In Diamond White. My sister, my sister drunk Diamond White. That was definitely one that she would have in the house. What else? A Woo Woo. Star Power. It's a big high five. Thank you for reminding me. A Woo Woo. I would never have got that on my own. There was a year where Yvonne and I were living in an apartment in Glasgow, and it was Yvonne's birthday. And to try and do something different, I got a wee cocktails app on my phone, and I learned to make like 5 or 6 different cocktails, and a Woo Woo was one of them. And I went to, like, I don't know, Sainsbury's or something, and I bought all the stuff, and I got the cocktail shaker, and I got ice, and we had a cocktail evening. And I think Yvonne was about 4 or 5 cocktails in, and I had to put her to bed, and that was the end of the night. She was absolutely bugged. I remember it because it was like, I remember how fast she got drunk, and I hadn't really realised how strong all those drinks were, especially when you're making them yourself in the house, right? But a Woo Woo is an absolute classic. See, a chilled cocktail glass, and you do the work, you make it properly, right? Get the ice in there, and you get that shaken up, and then you pour it into the glass, and it's got that nice, like, bright pink colour from the cranberry juice that's in it. Oh, spectacular. But if you go a bit heavy on the vodka and the schnapps, that's a night ender, and that's exactly what it was, a night ender. So yes, I think the 90s is the absolute. These dogs chase people in the street like they're the most fearsome things ever. You see those videos, right, of like dogs that are like barking at each other through a fence, and then they open the fence up and the dogs stop barking. That's what these two are like. They do all this like tough guy talk, and then you pull the gate back and they're like, I was only joking, mate. I don't actually want to go out there and chase that dog. I'll tell you another thing, right? Just something I was thinking about a couple of days ago. When I lived in the UK, right, and we were living in Northampton, we used to get our wheelie bins collected every 3 weeks, 280 quid a month council tax, and our bins would get collected every 3 weeks. See the street that we're living in here in Georgetown, the bins get collected 3 times a week. 3 times a week. And there's a guy who goes round and does all the leaf blowing. They pick up all the leaves. It's like a yellow jerseyed council guy. And then somebody comes round and takes pictures of all of that getting done. 3 times a week. And in the UK, they're like, there's not enough money, mate. You're going to have to take the rubbish out yourself every 6 weeks now. That's what it's going to get to. Blows my mind, that stuff, when I learn that 3 times a week. Yvonne took great pride in telling me the other day, do you know the bins here get collected 3 times a week? That's as exciting as our life gets during the week. 2 biggest conversations in our household. When was peak civilization? And do you know that the bins get collected 3 times a week? Happy bin day. I sent my email out yesterday, right? My newsletter email, and I was telling people in it, I got contacted by a national newspaper during the week. The Daily Mail and the I newspaper, I think the journalist was from both of them, sent me an email saying, we want to interview you about leaving the UK, why you left the UK, what your salary was like before you left, why you chose Southeast Asia, basically everything I've talked about in all of the videos, like lazy journalism, right? I mean, all the questions they wanted to ask me, all they have to do is watch 357 videos and they would get the answers. Or, as some people in the comments would tell me, you just have to watch 10 videos and then I just talk about the same stuff over and over and over again, so they wouldn't need to watch the rest. But they messaged me and said, we're interested in talking to you, and obviously we'll mention your channel. And I said, no thanks. I appreciate you reaching out, but I'm not interested in being in the Daily Mail. I'm not interested in being a clickbait headline of white man leaves UK over immigration issues, or whatever spin they would put on it. And I don't need any more Wembley Stadium fans coming to my channel for those that have been following recent narratives. But that was quite exciting. I saw the email and I was like, oh, the newspaper, and the temptation there would be to just go, yes, let's do the interview. I sat and thought about it and I was like, what am I going to gain out of this? Talking to a national newspaper in the UK about leaving the country, right? In the climate and given the news that's gone on in the UK over the last couple of weeks, what would I gain from having that conversation with somebody from the Daily Mail? So I took a hot minute to think about that and said, no thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. Aftershock. I haven't thought about Aftershock in years. The same pub that I used to go to, Hudson's, when my mate used to drink the Nookie Brown, we would get an Aftershock in there. Aftershock had the white crystals in it, didn't it? It was a pink bottle. Did Aftershock get banned because they didn't know the alcohol content of it? Because it would ferment, the crystals would ferment, meaning the drink would get stronger and stronger and stronger. I might have just made that up as a mad conspiracy theory, but if I remember rightly, the reason that it was pulled from production was because of that. Now, was there more than one colour? Did they bring another flavour out? Was there a black one at one point? Because you had Goldschlager. Do you remember Goldschlager? The wee gold crystals in it. Goldschlager is a good one as well. Now, when I joined that last company, right, because they were based in Germany, Jägermeister was get rolled out all the time. I went on a company retreat for like a few days, and we were in the Swiss Alps, and we were climbing up to a ski resort, and my boss pulled out a case of Jägermeister, and everybody had to drink it. And they do that wee thing where they put the lid on your nose and all that nonsense. So he had us doing that whilst we were out in the Alps of Switzerland and climbing a mountain. We were doing bloody Jaeger shots. Bloody Jaeger shots. I do like I do like a Jaeger. Most people I know don't. Like, Yvonne's not a big fan of it. Tequila. Not a fan of tequila. Yvonne and I got married in Mexico, Cancun, and we drank too much tequila. And I've never recovered. That's in the same chart. You know, if you do the tier list of like heroes and zeros, Southern Comfort and tequila are the bottom of that list when it comes to shots. However, Sambuca, I love a Sambuca. I actually have telling you too much info. I have a skull on my leg with a flaming Sambuca as a tattoo. Because of my love of, I used to be like in a different life, right? I would be the bad influence person who would be like, let's get shots, or would get a tray of shots, whilst everybody else was like, this was supposed to be a quiet night out. This is a Tuesday, John. We're out for a pint. We're not doing Jaeger bombs. That would be me. Trying to think. Yes, bad influence. So Jaeger, Goldschlager, and I had completely forgotten about Aftershock. Aftershock's probably one of these things now that people still have a bottle of it in their house. You know, like, you know the people that still have cremola foam, and they're like, oh, I've still got a tin of cremola foam. I've got the original recipe. Those people, they've probably got a bottle of Aftershock in their cupboard, keeping it, just in case, you know. The people that have still, there are people in Scotland who have cupboards of the original Iron Brew before the sugar tax came in. Those people exist. I saw somebody posting online. I saw somebody posting online the other day about a book that they had made of crisp packets, all the covers of crisp packets, the classic crisp packets. And the guy who had made the book was called Chris Packet. which I thought was a great little bit of comedy thrown in there for good measure. But it was all the classics, you know, like Space Raiders and all that. So you get people that collect crisp packets as like a collection, in the same way that you find people that are like, I've got 3 tins of cremola foam in my cupboard and a bottle of Aftershock. Peak car design was 2012. What would be the car from 2012 that would arrive you at the point of saying that was peak car design? I'd love to know. Jesus Christ, I'm getting attacked by the flies. HMRC and every other government blacklist. I'm not a big fan of the government institutions right now, or utility companies, or insurance companies. I'm starting to turn into what's the name of that Mask film that everybody uses as the anarchist thing? What was that movie again? God, my brain is so dead tonight. Jesus Christ, I'm getting eaten alive. I hope you appreciate I'm doing this for the views whilst I'm getting eaten alive by bloody flies. It was banned, definitely, but I don't know why. I'm sure it was to do with the crystals, because they discovered that if you had a shot of it, it said like 40% on the bottle, but depending on how long the bottle was in the pub, you couldn't guarantee it wasn't now 50% or 60%. God, was Britain such a nanny state, isn't it? Oh, I saw they're banning 16-year-olds off the internet, whilst also giving 16-year-olds the vote. Just another way. It's like, you know, obviously the news that's came out of the UK in the last week, it's not about the incidents themselves. It's just about the fact that you saw the incident. How dare you see what's going on in this country? Stop looking at this stuff and stop noticing it. See, our 2 pals, right? They love a tequila. And when Yvonne and I would go visit, tequila would often be the shot. And occasionally you could have one. In fact, I'll say this. When we were in Bali and we went to the taco place, the owner of the restaurant brought Yvonne and I out a tequila one night and put it on the table for the 2 of us. And I gave Yvonne the look like, I'm not drinking that. But 2 seconds later, I did. And it was delicious. We said to the guy, what is that? And he told us, and it was very smooth. But instead of it coming with, is it lemon it normally comes with? Came with orange. And I don't know if the orange just made the whole thing a more pleasant experience, but it was a very good tequila. And that's what kind of tricks you into thinking that it's actually an all right drink. When we got married in Cancun, the year that, I think it actually might have been the first time we went to Cancun. Yvonne and I met 2 women, sisters, Katie and Peggy, and they were a right laugh from the US. And we had a night with them doing tequilas, and the man at the bar said to Yvonne, if you drink 7 tequilas, you go to heaven. That's the magic number, 7, you go to heaven. And Yvonne was like, challenge accepted. And I can remember her throwing up in the shower that night and having to get like hosed down with cold water, trying to get her to calm down. It wasn't heaven, it was alcohol poisoning. It wasn't banned according to Google. It was a rumor. Was it? See, that's me. I'm a sucker for an urban myth. So can you still get it? Is it still available? Keeping you drunk, eh? That's a bit like that ouzo thing, isn't it? Is that an urban myth as well? It might be an urban myth. China beer can be alcohol strengths. That sounds like good marketing, if you're asking me, to be honest. That sounds like good marketing. Do you know, I do love a Golf. That was my very first car, as I was mentioning before. My very first trip in my very first car was to Wales from Glasgow. And I think I was just in the car for like 5 hours. And that's where my love of driving, that was formed at that moment, doing that trip. And years later, I flew from Scotland to Stansted. And when I got there, I had hired a car. and the car wasn't available, and they gave me a Golf GTI. And I mean, I was convinced I was going to buy a Golf GTI. After that, I had it for 2 days. And when I left Stansted Airport, I can remember leaving the hire car centre and driving out of Stansted. And Stansted's kind of in the middle of nowhere, right? And you come out of the airport and then it's down onto the motorway. And I can remember going down the slip road onto the motorway and almost crashing with how fast this thing. It was an automatic as well, which I'd never driven before. I'd always driven a manual. And this, I just put my foot down and it was like, wow. I mean, I'd been driving like a wee Golf 1.4 or something, my car, when I got it. It wasn't anything fast. And then suddenly getting in the GTI, I was like, holy shit balls. But the one that the only car that I don't really miss driving, but I had a Jaguar F-Type for a couple of years, and I fucking loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was so nice. See, driving from Northampton back to Scotland in that car, Yvonne and I, I loved it. And then when COVID came along, I got rid of it, and I was sad. I was sad. Hello, buddy. How you doing? Nice to see you. How's things over on your way? Thanks for joining us, mate. Absinthe, hallucination rumours. Yeah, I had absinthe when I was in Ibiza. Yvonne's cousin worked at a bar in Ibiza one time, and he gave us absinthe, and yeah, that was one of those nights where what I was telling you there about the shower thing with Yvonne, that was my turn that night. I remember the next day she called me a fanny, which is rare for Yvonne calling me any names, but she was like, "You were an absolute fanny last night." So that's when I knew I'd had too much, and it was absinthe. I was drinking absinthe. I've never drank until I met John. Lies. Absolute scandalous lies. V for Vendetta. Thank you. Thank you. My brain had just gone completely blank there. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. V for Vendetta. I hadn't seen that movie until recently. And then I decided, Yvonne and I, when we were staying in Kuala Lumpur, I think we watched it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Now I get the whole cultural reference of it all. Right, so it's been discontinued. It's definitely gone, but we don't really know why. Could be an urban myth, could not be. Craig, how you doing, mate? Nice to see you. How's things with you? Keep up fantastic work. Thank you so much. This week's been interesting. I made that podcast on Wednesday night talking about losing 6,000 followers and then lost a whole load more, which is how these things go. YouTube is a fickle and wild world right now, but weirdly hasn't impacted views in the slightest. In fact, they've increased very slightly. Watch time has increased very slightly. This is the whole subscriber. It's really just a vanity metric. Like, you got 21,000 subscribers, 21,000 people don't watch videos. I was watching a great video before I started this, actually. I follow this guy called Rob the Maritimer, and he makes videos about YouTube education. Talks a lot about how to start a channel, especially in your 40s and 50s. And he was just making a video. That this guy here, and he was talking about it's on his channel, right? Rob the Maritimer. If you've got a YouTube channel or you're interested in this stuff, go and have a look at it. But what he was talking about is, like, see if you have like 1,000 subscribers and you post a video, right? The 1,000 subscribers don't get told that you have a new video. YouTube doesn't work like that. It's not sending out thousands of notifications every time a content creator posts a video. It does little testing in batches. So I've got 21,000 subscribers. When I post a video and I select the box that says notify subscribers, it probably only tells a few hundred. And if that few hundred watch it, then it'll tell a few more and tell a few more. The only way, if you're a subscriber of a channel, to actually find the content of pages that you follow is when you're on the YouTube home screen to go to the subscriber section and then scroll through all the videos that have been posted. And he was just explaining all of that, like, why do Like I'll get people, I'll occasionally say like, oh, I didn't get a notification. And it's because YouTube doesn't tell everybody that's in your subscriber list. And also it works two ways, right? What he was explaining there is if you want to tick all of the boxes of trying to get notifications from your favorite subscribers, you need to do the whole notifications, turn the bell on, right? All of that stuff. And then you've got a better chance. But if you just hit subscribe, then you're not guaranteed of being notified when I post a video. Also, depending on what the niche is, right? If I switch a topic up, like if I make 5 videos talking about career and my job structure, and then I make a video about cost of living in Bali, it sometimes thinks, the algorithm thinks that you're not going to want to watch that content from me because you're interested in the career stuff, for example, right? So it filters things out. He was just explaining that there, and it was great the way that he presented it. And that kind of leaned into what I was talking about this week, which is you can go into the YouTube stats and see how many people have left the channel. And I did that over its entire lifespan, and it came out with like 6,000 subscribers have left. But at the same time, the channel was growing. And what he was talking about there is just this currently with YouTube is really just, there's so many AI channels, there's so many bots. In fact, I was just watching a video by Tim Pool, and he was talking about how, you know, the whole dead, I don't know if you've heard of the dead internet theory, but that's that most views and web pages and clicks and everything are actually really just being done by bots that very few people are actually really watching, which is fascinating stuff. Anyway, if you've got a YouTube channel, Rob the Maritimer, great channel where he just schools you, educates you, tells you how to set a channel, especially for you in your if you're in your 40s and 50s. Right, let me get back to this. John, I think Aftershock did the red and blue. Red and blue, that's right. And is it Zambuca then that's got the clear and black? Is that the one I'm thinking about there? Is that the two of those that you get? Jaguar through the weight behind Timmy Mallet, Lackaday e-cars. Yeah. I mean, Northampton, I made a few videos back in the early days of this channel because there was a big Jaguar sales centre near where I lived. And I was walking by it and talking about it. I loved that. I mean, the F-Type was such a great car. And look at where they're at now, right? People at the time were like, oh, John, they've deliberately taken a break from selling. They've paused new cars because they're building this one. And I was like, shut up. No company pauses sales. It was in trouble. And look what happened to it all, right? They went full DEI. They went full DEI. And in the end, it all went to shit. Watch League of Gentlemen, bottle of orange juice on YouTube. Has anyone got a bottle? Got an itchy leg. I think I'm getting eaten alive. Yeah. Do you know, I came home from America, right? And I get in the car. I was driving back from Heathrow Airport, and I banged my F-Type into the back of a taxi whilst waiting for the barrier to go up. And it was easily one of the worst moments of my driving history. Banging it, just can't even begin to tell you what happened, right? But somebody had bumped my wing mirror at the left side, and I hadn't noticed. So I was going down the spirally bit as I was leaving Heathrow Airport. And it was like 7 in the morning. I was flying back from New York, I think. And I pulled up behind a taxi, and they were waiting on the gate going up. And I leaned across to fix the wing mirror, and I took my foot off the pedal, and it just moved forward very slightly and banged into the back of this taxi in front. And I was just like, I mean, it was like the slowest accident you could ever have in an F-Type. And there was two foreign passengers in the back of the taxi. And they tried to claim whiplash. Oh God, people will try anything, won't they? Anyway, it was the slowest crash I was ever involved in. It was the only crash I've ever been involved in. That was the only bump I've ever had in a car, and it was in that bloody F-Type. Let me see if I can find it. No, I've only got pictures of the actual crash. I'd need to search. Never mind. But yeah, I loved that car. 2 years I had it. That was peak of earning money in my British Gas job. And now look at where I'm at. Having to take British Gas to the Ombudsman to pay me back my 255 quid from my dad. Connor, hello. John, fellow YouTuber here, was thinking about your monetization. Have you looked into affiliate marketing and sponsorship? I have been offered a shit ton of sponsorship and I've turned them all down because I'm not into peddling things that I don't believe in to my viewers. I've been offered a lot, all sorts, medications, bloody outdoor trousers, shoes, technology products, gym equipment, sports watches. Been offered all of that and I said no to all of it. I firmly believe that if you want to support me, you become the sponsor by joining the Patreon, and I'll make content in exchange for the membership fee. I have 3 tiers. Tier 1 is you just get access to all of the videos and content that I make. Tier 2, I message you privately through Patreon on the chat system. We talk once a month or each month. And the top tier level, I host a monthly Zoom call with the top tier Patreon members, and we chat about whatever topics you've got going on, and I share details of my finances, and I share with you all of the money that I've got to live this lifestyle. I share all of that at the top tier. And in exchange for that, a very small subscription. And I would much rather build an ecosystem like that than come to you and say, good news, guys. I've found this amazing pair of khaki trousers that are really great for when you're sweating on an aeroplane. And if you just want to click the link www.khakitrousers.com John Wears Trousers campaign code this month, you can get 20% off. Other trousers are available. I'd much rather you just joined Patreon and then I don't do those adverts. But I appreciate you. I bet you're wishing you'd never brought that up now, right? And most people are probably watching this going, John's ADHD and coffee have absolutely kicked in because listen to how fast he's talking. I've gone full Scottish. But yeah, so there's a very fine line between trying to earn on YouTube and building a bit of a business and then over leveraging that into marketing. If I would never say I would never take a sponsorship, but it absolutely has to fit into my core beliefs of, you know, I spent 31 years in sales. I never really sold anything I didn't believe in. I didn't work for any companies that I didn't enjoy their products. And when I stopped enjoying them, I left. And I would never pivot from that now. In the same way that I wouldn't accept an interview with a national newspaper just to gain viewers on this channel, because I want people to find the channel for what the channel's really about, not some newspaper run a story about it all and attract people for the sake of it. Collision prevention sensor sponsorship are interested to talk to you. Beep, beep, beep. This Jaguar is reversing. Oh, no, it's interesting. I see you take a different approach to me. Everybody, each to their own, right? Each to their own. Everybody has their own style. I've made documents here and I've given most of them away. I think I've only charged for one, but all of the other documents I've given away, and very generously people have sent donations and things. So I'm very grateful over that. And obviously, like for people that have got like YouTube channels, right? AdSense is where you can make some money, but nobody relies on AdSense because it's just so fickle, right? And obviously views just now, views are very hard on the channel, on the platform. You know, like I've said in the last couple of weeks, for all the way to Mr. Beast level, talking about half of the engagement, half of the views on videos. AI, like if you like, If you just go to YouTube, right, the homepage, the amount of space that's available to long form videos has massively decreased, right? There's my homepage right now. One video, short, 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 a picture, one video, a picture, right? So, and then more shorts, shorts, shorts. So, like the YouTube brain rot of shorts is so heavily pushed right now, which is why most channels are not getting growth. You use an app like, or a page like Social Blade, go and type in on Social Blade your favorite YouTuber. They'll tell you how much they earn, what their views are like, how many subscribers. You see a trend across the platform. That's just where YouTube is at right now. But that's why that's why I've got a newsletter, Patreon, and the podcast. So if you want to, if you want to support a channel, then Patreon, and in exchange for that, I've made content, hundreds of posts, regular. There's 2 chat groups in there, regular comms, live streams. And then I feel like I'm giving you something back in exchange of the subscription. There's 133 people over there that are part of that community. So it's an extension of here. I would much rather that than khakitrousers.com. Hello, John, mate. How you doing? Have you sorted out that subscription? I hate to think. Now, as a quick explanation, John is a subscriber on my Patreon, but he's so generous with his time and money. He's subscribed twice to the page. Was trying to subscribe the other day, and when I went in and looked, I was like, you're already a member. So I messaged him and I was like, John, you're already signed up. Please cancel one of these. By all means, keep one subscription. But I don't want to be the person that's taken 2 subscriptions from you and you haven't realised. So, John, I hope you've sorted that, mate. I can't cancel it for you. There's not a way for me to kick you out of the page unless I ban you. I don't want to do that. Michael, hello, mate. How's Malta today? What's the weather like over there? The dogs are running around their feet right now because they're like, go for a walk, dickhead. They're so good at knowing the clock, although they're about an hour ahead all the time. I'm curious, Connor, what's the kind of techniques and things that you use? If you don't mind, if you don't want to type it out, don't bother, but I'd be fascinated to know. I mean, see the affiliate marketing thing, right? I'll say this, I got contacted by Agoda, and Agoda said, do you want to be like an ambassador for us? Now, I don't really use Agoda. So it did get me thinking, and I applied to booking.com because I've talked about booking.com all the time. And I applied to be an affiliate, which meant I could have used a sponsored link, and I got rejected. And then I tried again because I was like, I applied in the UK, but I'm international. I got rejected again. I tried the European one, got rejected again. And then I did some research into it, and I found out that actually they've kind of shut the program down and they've stopped working with any content creators on booking.com. So I thought, all right, it's not just me, just picking on the Scottish guy because you're like, we're not having him talking about our brand. When you worked for British Gas, did you say you worked in? No, I didn't. I worked in London. I worked for the division of the company called Hive, and it was based just off of Tottenham Court Road, Oxford Street in London. I worked in the head office or the office department in there. I was never at British Gas directly. When I took redundancy, I was going through redundancy in 2020. I was about to be moved to the head office, and I took the redundancy and left. And look at where we're at now. There's a war over my dad's gas bill. What else have we got going on? Have I missed any other comments? Do you know a Golf GTI or a Subaru? How many Aussies are in here? Right, see the Aussies. I remember seeing a documentary years ago about the Subaru, and I remember seeing an Aussie person say it as Subaru. Oh, Subaru, mate. We got a bloody Subaru. And that's stuck with me for the rest of my days, just laughing at how the Aussies say Subaru. And just to prove that I'm not taking the piss out of the Aussies over this, it's just an accent thing. Yvonne and I get the piss taken out of us all the time when we talk about the French car manufacturer that begins with a P. You know the one, the French company? Peugeot. My English colleagues used to say, what are you talking about, John? It's Peugeot. And I'm like, it's spelt P-E-U. There's no R in it. Peugeot would have an R in it. It's Peugeot. And that would be regular banter that we would have. Such hilarity in the company. Good afternoon. Hello, mate. How you doing? Hope the kids are on recovery road. Connor, for me, it might be different. AI code. Yeah, I mean, again, like, I totally get that when you have channels dedicated to certain topics, it's much easier to kind of integrate. You know, I've had AI companies reach out to me like, do you want to talk about this app? Do you want to talk about this AI system? And I'm like, how am I going to have a channel, right, where, like let's do this, right? Hi guys, thanks for joining the video today. I'm in the middle of a dispute with British Gas over my late father's house. I'm trying to resolve a 2-year bill with them. Right, now let's just pause. Are you thinking about building a new system with AI? I bet you are, right? Well, I've got news for you. If you want to make videos and AI edit those videos for you, then we've got insert AI company here, Nexus Clips or whatever else. Anyway, let's get back to the topic. Yeah, so British Gas and my dad's bill, right? Doesn't work. But if I was talking about like this week, right, using Claude and using the Fable system, I mean, I was loving that. I was absolutely loving that. And then this morning, the US government's like, that's enough. We're taking that. And I'm guessing you probably know quite a bit about this stuff, right? When you're talking about the AI coding and all that. It wasn't even the full version of Fable, right? It was a kind of scaled down, some blockers in place version of the system that was out there, but it was so good. I was having so much fun with it this week. I was just sitting there like, do this for me, build this dashboard, create this, throwing all sorts at it. And then this morning I wake up and I was like, I want you to run this system for me. And it was like, Fable's not available. I thought, oh, that's weird. Tried it on my phone. Fable's not available. And then I go onto YouTube and it's like, it's gone. It's been removed. The US government's not allowing anybody to use it. Wild. Absolutely wild. What was it exactly? Yeah, I know. I have been on QVC. I was on QVC presenting for a brand that I worked at a couple of times. I had to go for the whole test screening and all that. But yeah, I just, again, if it's like, see if it was something that I really believed in. I've been contacted by one company and I would need to go and do something first before I would commit to it. But then I would use the thing for a period of time before I would ever introduce it. Somebody contacted me and asked me if I wanted to try out a gym system, like a, you know, like a home gym. And they're like, love the channel. And I'm like, clearly not, because if you really did, you would know, how am I going to carry a gym system around Malaysia? And then they were like, oh yeah, sorry. Well, if we ever come up with something that's more portable, we'll get in touch with you. If it's injected into the video in the right way, I'm fine with it. But like I say, I would much rather, like, if you genuinely love all of this and you want to learn a bit more, right? You're interested in some of the, like, when I make topics on Patreon, I dive into things just specifically more about those topics. I've made videos about how I make videos, like the software that I use, how I edit them, how I do sound production. I've made videos about how I make my thumbnails. I make videos about the investments, the money that I make, all of that. And at the top tier, I share, here's how much money I have on this platform, Interactive Broker. If you're interested in any of that, Patreon. But beyond that, you know, waterproof trousers are way down my list of priorities as to what I want to put on my channel. Well, I hope that's the case. I mean, that's how I try and deliver it, right? That's how I always try and bring these topics. Like, I can jump around a lot at times, and I get that. But when I made the podcast on Wednesday night, right, I was talking about losing the 6,000 followers and why I wasn't like, I don't want to lose people, of course, but I want to have the right people here. And by right people, I mean people that are interested in this topic and want to chat. And as I said in that video and in yesterday's email, I get to know a lot of people. You know, I know what's going on with folk that are in here. I learn a little bit about your lives, and then it feels more like a, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? When's the wedding? How's life over there? Feels more like a, we're chatting than me just pinging you a video and then doing it over and over and over again. You can get sponsored by a bug spray. Now, you see, then we would be talking, right? Then I'd be like, fair dues. Then I wouldn't be sitting here. Like, now, if somebody like Lululemon came and said, we'll sponsor Yvonne so that she doesn't keep getting eaten alive on her legs down the beach, that would be a natural sponsorship because she's getting eaten alive. Now, you see Ant Coffee, hair transplant company in Turkey, like, sometimes you've just got to accept what life throws at you, right? I mean, what's the point in going and getting the whole coming back looking like the Ibiza final boss with a, like, you just look the way you look. I'm 48. I gave up on all that shit fucking years ago. Years ago. Friday's email. Yes, that was yesterday. It went out. Thanks to everybody that's read it. Let me very quickly look at the statistics on it, because I do like a statistic. 224 people, which is 58.8%, have opened and read yesterday's email, which is the second highest open rate I've ever had, only just slightly behind last week's email, which was 226 at 60% open rate. Of the 420 something it was sent to, 381 are actively reviewing. And that gives me a little bit of leverage. If more people sign up, I can kick some people out that aren't really reading it. I'll tell you what's fascinating, right? I can see who opens the emails, how often they read the emails. I can do a search. It connects to my AI, ChatGTP, for example. So I can say to ChatGTP, tell me the 10 people who are the most engaged on my email system. And let me give you the two sides of that bit of statistics, right? Let me throw this out to you. I know that some close friends of mine who are subscribed to my email list have never read a single email that I've ever sent out of the 33 editions that I've got of my email list so far. Not a single one. Taking up space of a paid list that I've paid for and supporting by registering to read the emails, but having never seen a single email ever. I also know that I can search and find the people who are the most engaged. And last week, I wrote to 3 people and I said, thank you so much. I see that you've read all of these emails and I wanted to say thanks. In a world of junk mail messages and everything else, I just wanted to say thanks. And in exchange for that, I gave them all access to Patreon and said, go have a look. If you like it, you can join. And if not, you can leave and you can have full access just as a thanks, right? So yes, of course, that's a little bit of kind of a thanks from me for reading them and a little bit of marketing. I'm not disguising that. But it's funny that you can see that level of detail, right? So I go in and I'm like, oh, so I can see of a list of people, you've got like different tiers where you've got your most engaged, medium engaged, completely disengaged, and then you've got unsubscribes. They're not included in the total. And regularly I'll go in and just hit delete, get rid of them. There's no point you being on a list. You've already unsubscribed. and then I can kind of think about like what messaging I put in there. And some of those people have joined because I gave documents away, right? I've did like a how to leave the UK guide. You get the guide and then you don't read the rest of it. That's all just shit that happens, right? The last couple of companies I was working at, I used to do email marketing campaigns. I would sit down with a marketing professional and say, right, let's do a comms and let's offer them 10%, 20% off. You would send that to the last company I was at, had a mailing list of 10,000 subscribers that love the brand. You would email them and the open rates would be like, see if you got like 2%, 3% open rate, you would be happy with that. My open rate is like 60% each week. And it's just a little bit of blurb, but it's fascinating to see all of that information that's in there, right? But yeah, I signed up, I paid for 500 spaces. It's at 427, 428. You look. 400, and let me look. Reports, subscribers. Where did I look? Reports. This is Riveting TV now, right? 428, 428. And there'll be a few in there that's like fluff that needs deleted, and then I'll have some spaces. But that was the 500 that I bought in the first place. But yeah, but yes, and it's fascinating, right? I can go in and I can see all of that information. So I can use the AI to say, tell me who's the most engaged. And I can go into like a person's email account, their details, and I can see every single email that they've opened, or if they haven't. And I can see some people that like might read, you know, if I've sent 10, they've read 7. And I can see people that have read 10 out of 10. And I reached out to some of those people last week. I do that occasionally just to say thanks, because I'm like, thank you. I write them, you read them, and I'm very grateful for all of that. Did you get stats on the questionnaire? Yeah, I need to look at that actually. Yes. Again, there was, I think the webpage was opened by about something like 200 across the globe. And again, like if you wanted to see all of the information, you had to register for the email. Now there was some people that went yes and then immediately unsubscribed. That's again, shit happens, right? That's just part of like offering a service. Some people join, some people don't. I gained, I don't know, maybe 50 subscribers to the email from it, lost a few over it, because people just want the data. And that's just what happens. When I was building that stats page, I thought through the strategy and I was like, I could just make it that you have to register before you get access. That would have been an easy gate to put in place. I could have done it where you did the whole questionnaire, and then the only way you would have saw any of the stats, even the top level number, would have been to give me your email address. But I thought, look, I'll give you all of that. And then the last part of it, if you just want to see the individual sections in what you scored, then it's an email address. That felt like a nice compromise between me building it, the questions, the work that went into it, and maybe building up my newsletter a little bit. I felt that was fair. And that worked out. But thank you for the question on that. I'll have a look at it and I'll try and bring it next Saturday. And we'll talk about it. I'll scrutinize some of the data that came through. I got a lot of comments below the video itself. People telling me their individual scores, which was fascinating. I'm actually trying to build that into a web page now, so that it's all in one web page. But the way that I built that, if you were interested, right, the questions, I had about 20 hours of interviews or one-to-one conversations with people. And I went through and took out all of the questions, just the questions, so that you don't know who the people are or the topics from them, but just the questions. And then I also had a document that I had used AI to go through many of these comments that had been across hundreds of videos, and I had built them into a document of the top 100, and I used that as well. So those are questions that were asked by viewers of the channel over the last year, and then I put all of that in as well. and then randomized it and then selected the topics. So it was like fun to build, gets your brain going, all of that. But I need to have a little look through some of the stats. 67, probably about ready to leave, probably about right. Yeah, good on you. That's it's fascinating. John, you hit a good point. There's too much noise, not just audio, but visual noise. We are being battered by noise everywhere. It's hard to cut through all the crap. Listen, David, honestly, I really do get all of that. I really do. I mean, that was kind of, I think from 2020, right, the big shutdown, I really just started to change my view. Yvonne and I have always had Sky TV, satellite dish, all the channels. When I lived at my dad's, I can remember when we got Sky, the very early days of getting Sky, we would have the family pack. We didn't have movies, we didn't have sports, right? My dad didn't have enough money for all of that. And then when Yvonne and I were working, we got Sky and we had movies and music channels and everything else. And then slowly that started to scale back. See, in 2020, I cancelled all of Sky and I was like, I'm never having it again. I was so over Sky News, BBC, all of that shit and the constant, relentless propaganda that was pushed out. And I got rid of, we had a TV, but I didn't watch any TV. I'd started to watch a lot of YouTube channels that I liked. We were watching Netflix. We were watching a few other, watching a lot of old movies. During the whole lockdown era, Yvonne and I bought a DVD player that I hadn't had in years. And we started buying DVD films. And we started doing like a weekly, we would sit down on a Wednesday night. Yvonne would pick a movie or I'd pick a movie and we would watch. And then that was kind of how we were living. But I just get so scunnered with the news networks and the messaging and just felt relentless. And that's just kind of carried on at this point. So we're very selective. I don't know if it's an age thing as well, but I feel very, I don't know if this is like when you're like being sober as well, where you're just very much awake to noise, but just quiet. So I'll bring that back to what I said at the start of this video. I've made a little funny couple of clips walking around Malaysia the last few days. The noise, right, just life noise. And I was going to make it into a little video of like 24 hours in Malaysia, the noise, completely tinged in Scottish sarcasm, but I just haven't edited it yet. So if you see that pop up, you'll know exactly what that is. And now we're in this world of like, yeah, probably what this comment relates to, the AI slop, right? It's the AI shit. You know, YouTube is rapidly changing and suddenly you're in this space now where it's like, you know, shorts are just the devil's work. I'm making them, but I did it just to kind of see, was it any good? But I don't really like it. We've sat here, right? I can see there's 50 people in here, right? So 50 people have sat. Now, right, this is just random blurb, right? I'm sharing this with you for the perspective, right? I posted the midweek podcast and I said on it, I've lost 6,000 subscribers and that's okay. And then I talked about what this community meant, right? And I made a 50-minute video and I got a comment here, right, from Wobbly Wheeler on my channel right now. It says, John, if may I, number 1, script, number 2, 15 minutes, number 3, content. Number 1, you're repeating yourself. Make notes on a scrap piece of paper, say it once and then move on. Number 2, people haven't got half an hour to sit and listen. Everyone is moving. Most people I know are listening whilst they're at work. And 3, recording yourself sitting outside of a toilet door. Right, that's their advice to me. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. All of my videos are 8 to 10 to 15 minutes long, but twice a week I sit down and do long form. I make a podcast on a Wednesday, and now on a Saturday I talk for as long as I can be bothered talking and people are here. So this has been 2 hours. So 50 of you have been here for some length of duration, for that length of time. And then once I post this, it will stay up and people will be able to go and watch it. And people contact me and say, love the longer stuff. I listen to you go to the gym. This is a question and answer session. The Wednesday podcast is like a monologue for 50 minutes. So Wobbly Wheeler is telling me I should have a script. On a Wednesday, I do have a script. I have notes. I read the notes. 15 minutes, because people haven't got time. Well, actually, you could tell me in the comments how many of you are watching this on a TV, because the TV format is so heavily used for my channel. And when it's on TV, people are watching it for much longer, not 15-minute videos. It's more like 20 to 40-minute videos are the ones that are winning. And then the content comment, right? And obviously recording it. I'm recording it in a dark room because it's 11 o'clock at night. My wife's in her bed. So I get it, right? But that is an audio podcast that I record live. But people are coming now for longer form because they're so bored of 30-second videos, 30-second shorts, right? Now, when I talk about a script, you can see this right here on my phone, right? That's my script. Here's what it says. SpaceX IPO, newsletter, the news this week in the UK, tourism, Claude 5 banning. Why do I have that? Because when I turn the camera on, I want to have something to say in between us talking. Because when you turn the camera on, I've no idea if anybody's going to come. So if I turn the camera on, I don't want to be sitting here like, God, I hope somebody comes in here that I can talk to. I can just talk, because afterwards people are going to watch it today, tomorrow, next week, and it will keep getting watch time for the next weeks ahead. So I've got to have something to talk about. So these are just bullet points for me to riff off of, right? And then my brain runs off with it. So when I get a comment that's like, have a script, I don't go with a, and welcome to the 9 o'clock news. Tonight, we're going to talk about khaki trousers. And in the middle of all of that, here's a new AI system. Like, that's not my channel. Channel's about riffing and telling you things from my head and from my gut about what's going on in life, but with some kind of structure behind it. But twice a week, long form. Anyway, I digress and all of that. Thanks to Wobbly Wheeler for the feedback. I appreciate, you know, if you're just dropping in and watching it, you'd be like, what the fuck is this guy spaffing about for 50 minutes? Who's got time for this? Who's got time for this, mate? Expect the fitness regime is helping balance the stresses. John, can you tell? The fitness regime just now, right? It's never perfect the way I would want it. We're here with the dogs, 3 walks a day, doing about 15,000 steps, and that is excellent. But I've no gym and no swimming pool. When we're done this sit in 2 weeks' time, we're probably going to go back to Kuala Lumpur, and then I'll have a gym and a swimming pool. I weighed in this morning, and I was 11 stone, 7 pounds, which is very light. Because last November, when I had sepsis, I was 14 stone. I was 14 stone. And this morning, I'm 11 stone, 7 pounds. So the walking is amazing. I'm eating. Yvonne looks after me diet-wise. And but the thing I'm missing is the gym. So I've probably lost a little bit of muscle plumpness. But I'm just generally trying to look after myself, John. Hate scripts so much, but exactly, you know, you want to just, I've never had any more than a couple of bullet points on my phone just to keep my brain in check, because otherwise, that's why I like this, right? Because I can just tangent riff with what you guys are talking about. I can just shoot from the hip, chat, and I don't really get bothered by my brain running off in tangents like a Billy Connolly moment. I've noticed looking for a film now on YouTube, there's thousands of fake. I mean, that's always been the case, right? Or not the AI versions, but fake versions of them. On the noise thing, it's very true. One thing we often discuss in AI sloth and social media is how we're just so scared. I know, I don't believe anything at this point. I've completely lost the ability to trust anything. When I see news, I'm like, is it a psyop? Is it real? You know, every incident has to be taken through 5 different lenses of just your brain questioning it, right? Who's pushing this? What's the angle? You know, and I saw the news this week about the 2 kids in America, the track meet with the incident, Carmelo Anthony and can't remember the other kid's name, and just the 2 sides of the spectrum going over that court case and the prosecution attached to it and the jail sentencing and just everything. You're like, God, is this real life? Is this where we're at? Listening on my phone, prefer longer form videos. This is the thing, right? It's like, even when I make an 8-minute video, I can tell it's pulling in different people than a 40-minute video, because so many people they're just tired of short video. Even an 8-minute video, 10-minute video is considered short, not compared to a 30-second short. Again, 48 people here now, 2 hours, right? And at 2 hours, I need to take these dogs for a walk before I get eaten alive. I would like to know the average age of people watching this video, because the youngsters, I can tell you that, Baz, there's no issue with telling you that. Give me 2 seconds and I'll pull up the data. I don't get any of the, I mean, it's not the content for kids, right? But let me pull up the statistics. I'm going to say that most of it is 40 years to 60 years old, same age range as me. Okay, so I'll show you this, right? Here's what they're watching it on. So TV is 37%, mobile is 33%, computer is 19%, and tablet is 9%. That's the last 28 days of my channel. And then below it is the age bracket. So 13 to 17-year-olds, 1%. 45 to 54, 32%. So you can see the purple graph, right? The age brackets there. You can see there's almost nothing in the youngsters, the youngsters section. But that's your age brackets right there. And then in terms of gender, 82% men. Now, I'll say this much. I have a YouTube account. Yvonne watches all of the YouTube videos on my account. She doesn't really bother with her own page. My mate does exactly the same, his missus. So there's probably a lot of women watching that are watching maybe through a husband's account. But in terms of the statistics, it's 82% men, 17% female. And then in terms of the countries, 52% UK, and then after that goes all the way down, right? And again, it depends on the topics. And then the one that cracks me up the most, right? Subtitles for my Scottish accent, just to understand my dialect. So 79% no subtitles, 10% English, and 4% English United Kingdom. So 10% of people listening to me are like, what the fuck is he saying? Put the subtitles on, love. It's the only way we can understand this joke. Right, and on that note, just over 2 hours long, I will dial off and go take these dogs for a walk before it gets dark here. And I shall love you and leave you, and we'll do the same. Be back on Wednesday with the Second Wind podcast. Thanks to everybody that's listened, gone to Spotify and subscribed. I've just had 400 downloads. 400 downloads on Spotify. Thank you so much. And then I'll be back next Saturday for another coffee morning. Come on, Scotland in the morning. Get off to a flyer. Come on, Scotland. Right, thanks, Baz. Thanks, Aunt Coffee. Thanks, everybody that's in here. David, Russell, Richard, everybody else that's in here. much love to you all. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I shall see you in the next one.